Americanism, not globalism, will be our credo. Then we can be assured that other nations will not treat America with respect, the respect that we deserve.
What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American Politics, back in with a new video, and today we're going to be doing our 2022 governor's prediction for the month of May. Yes, it is time for another governor's prediction. Now, before we start today's video, before we start, exposing some crap, all that good stuff, I have a big request for all of you guys. I hope every single one of you smashes that like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit the little bell, and yes, of course, go follow that mysterious Twitter account in the description down below. And yeah, also I got some big news coming up. So I did say, a couple weeks ago that I have a big new announcement coming in May. There'll be a video in a couple days explaining it, but essentially, yeah, I'm getting a new intro, and I guess I'm gonna, have an editor, I guess. That's the huge announcement, and, yeah. So, the editor is, of course, me, so you'll see, me editing more videos, adding special effects, but yeah, starting, I think, tomorrow, you're gonna see a new intro, and yeah, it's gonna be very interesting, because, well, haven't really done it before on this channel, but I do enjoy doing it. It's, half the, time, but it's worth it, so yeah. Point is this, you're going to be seeing some different, things happening in this channel / videos in the next couple of days. So let's get right into it, folks. It's time for the monthly governor's prediction, this time the month of May edition. And boy oh boy, since the last time we did a prediction, a lot of shit has happened. The Roe versus Wade stuff is a huge thing right now. However, in 2 weeks, everybody's going to forget it, all right? Sure, it may pop up again when the Supreme Court officially makes the ruling, but based on what I'm seeing on the polling data, like actual polling data, the Roe versus Wade stuff is not going to have that huge of a consequence in this cycle, all right? It just won't. I mean, when you have inflation almost breaking record highs this early in the year, yeah, I think people are going to be more worried about it come, what is it? This November. People are going to care more about, hey, the gas prices, they look a bit, extreme. So yeah, this idea that, oh, well, you see here, Roe versus Wade's going to take over the election. No, it doesn't. Every election tends to always be about the economy, about inflation, about all that stuff. Outside of 2018, which was about healthcare, which, Republicans should have ran on, but they didn't. So, outside of once, most midterms are based on the economy. And this one's no different. People care more about, oh, I can't get a job and, my mortgage rate's going up to record high over, hey, someone in Texas can't get an abortion 20 weeks in their pregnancy. Nobody cares! So yeah, the Roe versus Wade stuff, it's not going to have an effect whatsoever. So let's get right into it, folks. Let's start with all the obvious states: Alaska, Idaho, Wyoming, South Dakota. All of these are safe Republican. No matter what you do, you can shoot somebody. These states will vote the way they will vote. I'm also putting Ohio in this category. Look, I think the Wyoming's going to turn off some voters. Some of those Joe Blystone voters, Jim Renacci voters, some of them are not going to vote. But even so, he's going to win by a lot. If the primary turnout shows anything, he's going to win by a landslide, by a minimum 10 points. So I'm fairly confident putting this in the safe category. I'm also putting Texas and the great state of Florida in the safe column as well. Look, Texas is not going to Beto, all right? He's getting crushed in every single, actual poll, and the internals are way worse. So yeah, Beto's going to get absolutely annihilated. I mean, he's running on post-birth abortion. He's running on, transgenderism. It's like, you're running in Texas! This is a state, while yes, has become a bit more left-leaning compared to 20 years ago, all they care about in Texas is God, guns, and oil. Those are the three things they care about. They don't care about, the transgender kids, they're not allowed to participate. I'm gonna vote Democrat. No, they aren't. You're running in Texas. In fact, the Roe versus Wade stuff is going to help Abbott. He's the big reason why, it did get overturned because, well, he signed the law that challenges the ruling. So yeah, Texas is safe Republican in my opinion. Nothing you do will change that. Phil Scott's going to win Vermont. It's a waste of time, but whatever. And the wuss himself, Chris Sununu, the biggest rhino of them all in New Hampshire, is going to win by at least 30 points. He should have ran for the Senate. Complete coward. And yeah. So those states are safe Republican no matter what you do because, Florida's not going Democrat, all right? If Crisp is the nominee, he loses by 11 points. If Nikki Fry is the nominee, I know it's Freed, but she's a loser. If she's the nominee, she's going to lose by upwards of 15 points. It's a non-competitive race. As for the Democrats, everybody's wants my opinion. California, Hawaii. I'm going to say, I'm not going to say that whole state. I was about to. Maryland, New York, and I'm grudgingly putting Rhode Island in this category. I know it's usually, close, but Republicans do, I guess, have a major candidate, I guess. They got I'm pretty sure they have the former, state majority leader or something like that running. Either way, I think they got a decent candidate or something like that. But even so, this is a state that's going to go Republican or Democrat by at least 10 points. Yes, it's a red wave year. Yes, it's traditionally closer at the statewide level. But there's really, no major candidates. I think there's maybe one, but it's not, that well known to potentially win. So yeah, Rhode Island, in my opinion, safe Democrat. Also Massachusetts. Charlie Baker, wussed out. That's all you need to know about Massachusetts. So yeah, there's 14 races that I'm not going to mark as a safe state either way. So let's get rid of let's just actually go coast to coast. Oregon. Again, there's a lot of memes about red Oregon. I know a certain somebody, made a video saying that it's going to be closer in the future. Doesn't mean it's going to go red. However, this is a statewide race. And if you don't know Oregon politics, it is always closer at the statewide level. I mean, in 2018, Kate Brown only won by 6.5 points. In 2018, in a blue wave year, she somehow did worse in 2018 than she did in 2016. You really think she's gonna win, or the Democrats gonna win this race? They're not. Republicans have some very good candidates running in this race. It's very solid. I mean, you have two good candidates that can seriously win. Drazen and Bud Pierce are the main two. But even so, both of them running good campaigns, and both of them can win. In my opinion, as of now, with how the Democrats are, running terrible campaigns, and, you got a Betsy Johnson who's running a serious third-party candidate, yeah, that race is going to go flip. It's going to flip. It's not going to, make Oregon a safe Republican state. But I do think it's going to flip this cycle, especially with a red wave year. And I think just in general, the red wave is going to be huge, or I should say bigger, in the Pacific Northwest. Just based on some, early polling data we do have. It's apparent in Washington, and I think it's going to happen in Oregon as well. Nevada, I don't got to say much. Do I got to say much at all about this race? All you need to know is the Sisolak himself, all right, he's a complete cis, he's going to lose, all right? And Joe Lombardo, who is going to be the Republican nominee, is going to win this race by 2 to 3 points at minimum. Former sheriff, very popular, and he has a nomination locked up. Trump endorsed him. Yeah, Joe Lombardo, he's going to be the next governor of the great state of Nevada. Now we got Arizona. Kari Lake has locked this nomination up already, all right? Recent polling has showed Lake's at 38 to 40%. Sure, Robson's at 23% or whatever, but Lake is clearly going to be the nominee. And it's also apparent that Katie Hobbs is going to be the, governor for the Democrats. The problem with Hobbs? She's a Bernie bro running in Arizona. The same thing happened in 2018 with David Garcia. In 2018, the Democrats ran a Bernie bro. and Doug Ducey slapped him in a blue wave year. Now again, Doug Ducey had strengths in 2018 that Lake may not. But even so, I don't care what people are saying about all these polls that got Arizona off by 6-7 points or saying, it's a close race. I don't care. At this point, I think it's a likely state. I think Lake wins by 5 to 6 points. Every polling we have seen shows Lake is going up and up and up in the polling. Hobbs, she's stuck at 41% right now. That's going to change, obviously, but still, based on what we're seeing, based on the enthusiasm gap that Republicans do have on the Democrats, yeah, I have a good feeling that Lake's going to win by 5 to 6 points against a Bernie bro. Bernie bros get slapped in Arizona all the time, so I don't think it's crazy. Also, before I forget, can't forget Colorado. Colorado, in my opinion, is a safe Democrat state. I don't really think Republicans will really compete there. I mean, you got a lunatic governor there. I mean, the guy wants post-birth abortion, essentially. It's like, no, Jared Polis sucks. But it just, Republicans don't have what you would consider a real candidate, and plus all the polling shows Democrats up by 15, 16 points. So Colorado, in my opinion, don't waste money on it. Just let Polis be his thing. Now we have New Mexico, and Grisham is a Democrat nominee. Here's the problem. She has more scandals than I think any, incumbent governor that's running for re-election currently. Scandal after scandal after scandal. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse for her. A lot of bad stuff coming out about Grisham. And it appears that Republicans are united around Mark Ricchetti, not a surprise. Ronchetti is a Republican nominee, essentially. So it's between Ronchetti and Grisham. I think Ronchetti wins this race. He only lost the Senate race by like 5 points in 2020, in a state that Trump, lost by around 10 points. In a red wave year, against a fairly unpopular incumbent, who Ronchetti's also a popular candidate, he can win that race easily. So I do think New Mexico is going to flip at the governor's level. May seem crazy, yes, but you look at New Mexico, with Mark Ronchetti. He has a serious shot of winning, was a strong candidate in 2020. No reason it's any different in a statewide race in 2022 in a red wave year, especially in this national environment. Now we got Kansas. I don't gotta say much. Republicans are going to win that race by at least 5 to 6 points. I mean, Kelly is losing. She is losing this race. Only reason she won in 2018 was a third-party vote in a blue wave year. That's not happening this time. And I think Derek Schmidt's pretty much the only Maine candidate. He's going to win by 5 to 6 points. He's a decent candidate, and there's really not much I have to say about Kansas. Now we have Illinois. Now, Illinois, for the Senate race, for most of those other races, is traditionally, that safe Democrat seat. However, this time around, I think the prick, all right, J.B. Pritzker, whatever you want to call the loser, he's going to win, but by a likely margin. Look, Republicans have some decent candidates in this race, all right? Darren Bailey's a big one. Richard Irvin's another big one. Paul Schmith, I think that's how you say his name. They're all candidates that could seriously, have a chance of winning these races. Now, again, I have not endorsed anybody just yet. I will be making an endorsement when the time comes. But as of now, I think the prick, all right, who I think is going to, win, I think he's going to win by like 8 or 9 points, Far cry from 2018 when he won by 16. So yeah, I think that's a reasonable assumption, especially in this national environment. Pretty solid in my opinion. Now we got Minnesota. Waldo in Minnesota, he's going to win by, I would say, 5-6 points. Republicans just, they got Scott Jensen, but it's like, doesn't seem like he's running that good of a campaign in Minnesota. And based on what I'm hearing, it's, the polling isn't great for Republicans. Yeah, they're probably going to flip the state legislator. At least, I think they're going to flip the state house, I think it is. But either or, Minnesota for the governorship, Waldo's not losing that race. He's going to win by at least 5-6 points. I mean, he did pretty solid in 2018, which was a blue wave year, but still he won by around 11 points. I mean, if it was under 10 points, I think he would maybe be in trouble, but he's popular enough, I guess that's the right word for it, So yeah, Minnesota, in my opinion, is likely Democrat. Wisconsin, I'm just gonna put that there. Tony Evers is done. Evers, the loser, the nerd, whatever you want to call him, he's done. He's gonna lose by 5-6 points. Whether it's Rebecca Kleefisch, Kevin Nicholson, or I think Tim Michaels, that's the one that just announced. Either way, Evers is done. He's not a popular governor. Even the Morning Compost, one of the worst pollsters in the country, shows, yeah, he's not too popular. So yeah, Tony Evers is losing this race. Now, if Republicans nominate, Rapthun, we may be in trouble. But either or, Tony Evers is losing this race. No matter what you do, he's losing this race. He won in 2018 because of a blue wave year, and also because Scott Walker's coalition imploded. Also, funny stuff happened in Milwaukee. Go look up what happened in Milwaukee in 2018. Not alleging anything, just, doesn't pass a sniff test. Anyways, Michigan. This is a weird one. This is a very, very strange race. Republicans have, it appears, one frontrunner, James Craig. However, there appears to be an endorsement in the works for Tudor Dixon from Trump. Now, James Craig, from what I've seen, is not running the best campaign. But either or, I do think in this environment, Republicans, if they field pretty much anybody, would beat Whitler by like a half point. It would be close. But I do think Whitler is on her way out of Michigan. I know it's Whitmer, but that clown deserves it for what she did. She lied to people, oh, you must stay home while I go out on vacation. It's like, go away. Nobody likes you. So yeah, Michigan, in my opinion, in this national environment, does flip to the Republicans. Now we got Pennsylvania with one of the most overrated candidates in the country in Josh Shapiro. Josh Shapiro barely won in 2020 against a no-name candidate. You expect him to win in a red wave year, in a red trending state like Pennsylvania. The only way that this loser Josh Shapiro, funny last name, can win is if Republicans nominate Mastriano, whatever you want to call the loser's name, the election dude. All right, again, he has some bad things about him that are coming out. And Democrats know that. They want Mastriano to be the nominee. So Republicans need to elect either Lou Barletta or Dave White. Those are the only two good candidates in this race that can win at a statewide level. So I hope that Barletta or Dave White do get the nomination. Hopefully, because if we get stuck with Mastriano, or even, McSwain, who has no chance of winning, we may be in big trouble. But I do think that Barletta or White are getting the endorsement. From what I'm hearing, Trump's going to endorse one of the two. In that circumstance, I do think Pennsylvania would flip in this scenario by around 1.5 points. Yes, it's traditionally a bit more Democrat, the governorship in the state of Pennsylvania. I mean, the incumbent governor, Tom Wolf, won by a lot, both in 2014 and 2018. But still, I think Josh Shapiro is an overrated candidate. He's not that strong. I mean, you ran against a nobody and you barely won. It's like, you're not going to win a governorship barring, Mastriano be the nominee. So Pennsylvania, in my opinion, is a lean Republican state. Again, I hope Barletta is the nominee, or even White. Dave White's also solid, but I do think Barletta is the best overall candidate in Pennsylvania. Now we got Georgia. Either way, I mean, look, all I'm going to say is this. The walrus herself, Stacey Abrams, not winning this race. Even if Brian Kemp, gets the nomination and avoids a runoff, he's losing that race, or winning that race. David Perdue, I think, has a higher floor, but would still win that race. So yeah, Georgia, in my opinion, either way, goes Republicans by 3-4 points. Stacey Abrams is not winning that race. I mean, guys, come on. She's not winning. And I know it's Georgia becoming a bit more Democrat, but from what I've seen in some of the polling, Republicans are doing solid enough. And again, you look at some of the internal polls I've heard, not too good for Democrats in Georgia. So yeah, as of now, in my opinion, it is a lean Republican seat. Now we got Connecticut. Oh boy. Now we all know at statewide level or presidential level, this is a safe Democrat seat. However, Republicans have a serious candidate here in Bob Stefanowski. He was a candidate in 2018 who almost beat Ned Lamont. I mean, Stefanowski only lost by 3 points in 2018. Reminder, that was a blue wave year. And he almost won that race. Now again, people are going to say, Ned Lamont's a popular governor. No, he isn't. Some of these polls showing, Lamont at 55% approval, that's bullshit. Complete horse shit. At best, he's in the low 50s. From what I've seen, he may be in the mid 40s. So yeah, Ned Lamont may be in serious trouble. Now, this will be a close race, I think, either way. Stefanowski is a Republican nominee, pretty much certain, and it's going to be a very, very close race. Stefanowski doesn't have to make up as much ground as he had to do in 2018. If he runs as good as a campaign as he did back then, today, he would win. And I do think he's going to win. I think Ned Lamont is going to win that race by half point. Bob Stefanowski will win that race by a minimum a quarter of a point. Very close, but I do think it is going to flip to the Republicans. Now we have Maine. Look, you know me. I am a huge fan of Paul LePage. If you don't know who Paul LePage is, he is a Chad on the issues. And, well, I'm going to say this. Janet Mills, an awful governor, the governor of Maine, in 2018 won that race by 7 points. However, there was a third-party candidate. So, yeah, there's that. And I know the third-party candidate was technically a Democrat, but still, Mills only won by 7 points in a blue wave year. All right? At best, she would have won this race by 8 or 9 points. Now you have a former governor in Paul LePage running to try to take back his position, all right? And I do think Republicans have a chance to win this race. Now, will LePage win this race? This is a tough one, all right? I have not seen enough polling or data to make an affirmative prediction on this. But my gut feeling is this. I think LePage, as of today, barely, just barely lose. I think it'll be a close race. I think LePage is a strong candidate. It's just, I think, as of now, I've not seen enough affirming evidence to show that LePage is winning. I think it'll be very close, but I don't think LePage would win as of now. And this, folks, is my current Senate prediction. A lot of flips, as you could tell. I mean, Oregon and New Mexico are the two hot takes, all right? I mean, people are going to say, you're just biased. Red Oregon's not happening. Look, this is as of now. And based on what we're seeing in the polling in Oregon, the third-party candidate in Betsy Johnson is polling high enough to take a substantial amount of the votes away from Democrats. Which, by the way, she's going to take votes more away from Democrats than Republicans. That's just a fact. And so, yeah, if Betsy Johnson takes a bigger chunk of the vote away, Republicans are winning that race. They have good candidates, and traditionally at the statewide level, Oregon is a bit closer. So yeah, this is my current prediction. A lot of flips. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 flips as of now that I can count. So yeah, it's a pretty good election night based on what I'm seeing on the polling data, based on the national environment, and based on the candidates. I think it's a reasonable prediction. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit the little bell, and yes, of course, go follow that mysterious Twitter account in the description down below. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Godspeed to all of you.